Once you stop escaping pain, your mind becomes strong. Number 1, pain is not the enemy. Avoidance is. Pain does not destroy you. Running from it does. Every time you avoid pain, your mind learns fear. Every time you face pain, your mind learns strength. The mind becomes weak when it believes discomfort is dangerous. It becomes strong when it learns discomfort is survivable. Number 2, escaping pain trains weakness. When you escape pain, you are training your mind to quit. Quit when it's hard. Quit when it's boring. Quit when it's uncomfortable. Over time, even small effort feels heavy. This is how weakness forms. Number 3, staying with pain trains control. Pain creates reaction. Most people react instantly. They distract. They complain. They stop. But when you stay still, breathe, and continue, you build control. Control is strength. Number 4, pain builds trust in yourself. Confidence does not come from words. It comes from proof. Proof that you stayed when it hurt. Proof that you did not quit. Each time you endure pain, your mind starts trusting you. That trust becomes inner strength. Number 5, avoided pain grows, faced pain shrinks. What you avoid becomes bigger in your head. Hard work feels scary. Discipline feels impossible. Change feels overwhelming. But pain faced directly loses power. The mind learns, this is uncomfortable, not dangerous. Fear fades. Number 6, pain creates mental endurance. Endurance is trained, not gifted. Cold mornings, hard workouts, focused effort, silence. These small pains prepare your mind for real pressure. A mind with endurance does not panic. Number 7, comfort makes the mind fragile. Comfort feels safe, but it weakens you. Too much ease removes tolerance. Then life hits and the mind collapses. Pain restores tolerance. Tolerance is strength. Number 8, pain simplifies the mind. Under real effort, the mind becomes quiet. No overthinking. No drama. No excuses. Just breath. Just effort. Just now. A quiet mind is a strong mind. Number 9, pain removes excuses. Excuses survive only in comfort. Pain exposes truth. You see clearly where you lie to yourself, where you avoid effort, where you quit early. Truth is uncomfortable, but it is necessary for growth. Number 10, pain builds calm, not chaos. This is what most people don't understand. Men who face pain daily are calmer than men who avoid it. Nothing surprises them. Nothing shocks them. They are prepared. Prepared minds stay calm. Number 11, pain teaches emotional control. Pain always brings emotion. Anger, fear, frustration, doubt. Weak minds obey emotion. Strong minds observe it. When you feel pain and do not react, you train emotional control. Control is power. Number 12, avoiding pain creates anxiety. Anxious minds are not weak. They are untrained. Avoided pain turns into constant worry. You imagine pain instead of facing it. Imagination hurts more than reality. Facing pain ends anxiety. Number 13, pain makes you present. Pain pulls you into the moment. No future fear. No past regret. Only breath. Only effort. Presence calms the mind. Present mind is strong. Number 14, pain removes false confidence. Comfort creates fake confidence. Pain tests it. Only real strength survives discomfort. What remains after pain is truth. Truth builds real confidence. Number 15, pain creates discipline. Discipline means doing what must be done even when it hurts. Without pain, discipline cannot exist. And without discipline, the mind has no authority. Number 16, escaping pain keeps you immature. Avoiding pain keeps you childlike. Always seeking ease. Always seeking relief. Facing pain matures the mind. You stop expecting life to feel good all the time. Number 17, pain builds self-respect. Self-respect is earned. Every time you stay under pressure, you respect yourself more. That respect creates inner stability. Number 18, pain prepares you for life. Life will bring pain anyway. Loss, failure, pressure. Training with pain prepares you. Prepared minds do not break. Number 19. Pain reduces fear of the future. When you trust your ability to endure, the future stops feeling scary. You know you can handle difficulty. That trust is strength. Number 20. Pain creates quiet confidence. Not loud confidence. Not aggressive confidence. Quiet confidence. The kind that does not panic. The kind that does not rush. Number 21. Pain teaches patience. Pain cannot be rushed. You stay. You breathe. You wait. Patience is mental endurance. Number 22. Pain sharpens focus. Real effort removes distraction. The mind becomes clear. Focus increases. Noise disappears. Number 23. Pain ends self-pity. Self-pity cannot survive effort. When you are fully engaged, complaining stops. Action replaces suffering. Number 24. Pain builds inner authority. When you obey yourself under pain, your mind listens to you. No arguments. No negotiation. Authority creates peace. Number 25. Pain stops being scary. This is the shift. Pain still hurts, but it no longer controls you. You trust yourself inside it. Number 26. Pain becomes training. You stop asking, how do I escape this? You ask, what is this building in me? That question changes everything. Number 27. Pain increases tolerance. Small pains make big pains manageable. Tolerance is mental armor. Number 28. Pain removes dependency on comfort. You realize you don't need ease to function. That is freedom. Number 29. Pain builds reliability. You become someone you can depend on. Reliability is strength. Number 30. Pain stops controlling your life. This is the result. Pain no longer decides your actions. You do. Now listen carefully. Pain will always exist. The choice is simple. Run from it and stay weak. Face it and become strong. Stay with discomfort. Breathe through it. Continue. And slowly, without drama, your mind becomes unbreakable. That is the path. Number 31. Pain teaches responsibility. When you face pain, you stop blaming. No blaming people. No blaming situations. No blaming luck. You focus on what you can control. Responsibility strengthens the mind. Number 32. Pain removes victim thinking. Escaping pain keeps you feeling like a victim. Facing pain makes you active. You stop asking, why me? You start asking, what now? That shift creates strength. Number 33. Pain builds mental balance. A mind that knows pain does not swing too high or too low. Success doesn't make you arrogant. Failure doesn't destroy you. You stay balanced. Balance is power. Number 34. Pain trains delayed reaction. Pain teaches you to pause. Not react instantly. Not explode emotionally. You feel first. You act second. That pause changes everything. Number 35. Pain creates inner silence. When pain is accepted, the mind stops screaming. No panic. No noise. Just focus. Silence is strength. Number 36. Pain strengthens decision-making. Under pain, decisions become clear. Do I quit or continue? Do I stay or run? Each time you choose to continue, your decision-making improves. Number 37. Pain builds courage quietly. Courage is not loud. It is simply staying when leaving feels easier. That quiet courage lasts. Number 38. Pain ends emotional dependency. You stop needing comfort from others. You stop needing approval. You become emotionally independent. Independence is strength. Number 39. Pain makes discipline natural. At first, discipline feels forced. Then pain teaches you its value. Discipline becomes normal. Normal strength is real strength. Number 40. Pain no longer defines you. This is the final stage. Pain still exists, but it no longer controls your life. You move with it. You work with it. You remain steady. Now listen carefully. A strong mind is not built by avoiding pain. It is built by staying present inside it. No drama. No complaints. No escape. Pain will come. Stay. Breathe. Continue. And over time, your mind becomes something rare. calm under pressure, clear under stress, stable under pain. That is what happens when you stop escaping pain. Your mind becomes strong, because once you reach this point, pain no longer feels like an event. It feels like part of life. And when something becomes part of life, it loses its power to scare you. You stop measuring yourself by comfort. You measure yourself by response. How do I respond when it's hard? How do I respond when I'm tired? How do I respond when quitting feels tempting? That response defines strength. A strong mind does not rush to remove pain. It asks, can I stay steady here? And every time the answer is yes, your mind becomes more reliable. This is why your behavior changes. You complain less. You explain less. You react less. Not because you don't feel, because you don't panic. Pain no longer creates chaos inside you. It creates focus. You breathe deeper. You slow down. You act deliberately. That control spreads into every part of life. You stop fearing hard work. You stop avoiding responsibility. You stop running from silence. Because none of these things break you anymore. At this stage, pain becomes a filter. It removes weak habits, empty desires, false priorities. What remains is essential. That simplicity is strength. You also stop seeking comfort in distraction. No constant noise. No endless scrolling. No escape habits. You can sit with yourself. And a man who can sit with himself is not easily controlled. This is where inner peace actually comes from. Not from ease. Not from pleasure. From capacity. The capacity to endure, adjust, and continue. So when pain appears again, and it will, you don't fight it. You don't escape it. You acknowledge it. You breathe. You move forward. That is what a strong mind looks like. Not hard. Not cold. Stable. And stability changes everything. You trust yourself. You trust your reactions. You trust your discipline. Life may remain difficult, but it no longer feels overwhelming. That is the final outcome. Once you stop escaping pain, your mind does not become aggressive. It becomes unbreakable. Quietly, steadily. For life. That is the end of the path. Now walk it. And now this is the final layer. Because beyond this point, pain no longer feels like something happening to you. It feels like something happening for you. You stop separating life into good days and bad days. You see only training days. Some are lighter, some are heavier, but all of them are useful. A strong mind does not waste energy asking, why is this happening? It asks, how do I move correctly through this? That single question removes confusion. This is why your inner dialogue changes. Less complaining, less bargaining, less self-talk, more action, more breathing, more presence. Silence replaces noise. Pain no longer hijacks your identity. You don't say, I am tired, I am stressed, I am broken. You say, I am experiencing this. That distance is strength. You learn something important here. You are not your discomfort. You are the one observing it. And the observer is always stronger than the sensation. This is why discipline becomes calm at this stage. No anger, no force, no aggression, just quiet execution. You also stop romanticizing strength. Strength is not intense. It is repeatable. Can you show up again tomorrow? Can you stay again when it hurts again? That is all that matters. Pain teaches you consistency better than motivation ever could. Motivation disappears. Pain stays. And because pain stays, so does your training. Eventually, something very important happens. You stop fearing yourself. You trust your reactions. You trust your endurance. You trust your discipline. And when you trust yourself, life stops feeling threatening. This is why a strong mind feels calm. Not because it avoids difficulty, but because it has met difficulty many times before. So if pain shows up again today, remember this. You don't need to conquer it. You don't need to escape it. You only need to stay present inside it. Breathe. Relax the body. Continue. That is the final skill. Presence under pressure. And once you have that, nothing in life truly overwhelms you again. Pain still exists, but it no longer owns you. You own yourself. That is what it means to have a strong mind. And now, this is where the understanding becomes permanent. Because once you stop escaping pain long enough, you realize something simple and honest. Pain was never blocking your life. It was shaping it. At this stage, pain no longer creates urgency. You don't rush to fix it. You don't rush to escape it. You stay calm. Calm is the sign of strength. A strong mind does not need pain to end in order to function. It can think clearly inside discomfort. It can act correctly inside pressure. That is rare. This is why most people feel exhausted by life. They fight every hard moment. Fight drains energy. Resistance creates suffering. Acceptance creates efficiency. You begin to move differently now. Slower. More deliberate. More grounded. You stop wasting energy on panic, and that energy turns into focus. Pain also teaches you something important about time. You stop rushing the process. You understand that strength is built slowly, repeatedly, without shortcuts, and you stop being impatient with yourself. Patience is mental maturity. You also stop labeling moments as failures. Painful days are not setbacks. They are load, and load builds capacity. Just like weight builds muscle, pressure builds the mind. This is where confidence changes shape. It is no longer excitement. It is certainty. Certainty that you will not abandon yourself when things become difficult. That certainty is power. You stop needing control over life. You focus on control over response. Life can change. People can change. Situations can break. Your response remains steady. And when your response is steady, life feels manageable. Not easy. Manageable. That is enough. So when pain shows up again, and it always will, remember this: you do not need to escape to be safe. You do not need relief to continue. You need presence. Stay present. Stay breathing. Stay moving. This is the final result. A mind that does not collapse under pressure. A mind that does not panic under pain. A mind that does not run. Not because pain disappeared, but because you stopped escaping it. And once you stop escaping pain, your mind becomes strong in a way that lasts for life. That is the end. Now live it. And now there is nothing left to explain. Only something left to apply. Because once pain no longer scares you, your life stops feeling chaotic. Not calm because nothing hurts. Calm because nothing overwhelms you. A strong mind does not demand comfort. It demands correct behavior. When it's hard, you stay. When it's boring, you continue. When it's painful, you breathe and move forward. That is the pattern. At this point, pain stops interrupting your life. It blends into it, just like effort, just like work, just like responsibility. Normal, expected, manageable. You no longer say, "I can't handle this." You say, "This is uncomfortable, and I'm still here." That sentence changes everything. This is why your reactions slow down. No panic, no emotional explosions, no dramatic decisions, just measured response. Measured response is maturity. You also stop chasing comfort as a reward. You don't say, "I'll rest when it's over." You learn to rest inside effort. Calm breathing, steady pace, focused mind. That is advanced strength. Pain no longer steals your energy. Resisting pain used to drain you. Now acceptance saves energy. That saved energy becomes clarity. You stop overthinking. Because overthinking is a luxury of comfort. Under real effort, the mind becomes simple. Simple minds are strong minds. This is where life changes without announcements. No big moment. No dramatic shift. Just one day you notice. Things that used to break you no longer do. You still feel pain. You still feel pressure. But you don't feel lost. And not feeling lost is the greatest relief a man can have. So remember this when the next hard moment arrives. Pain is not here to destroy you. It is here to shape your response. Stay present. Breathe. Do what must be done. That is not toughness. That is strength with control. And once you have that, life no longer pushes you around. You meet it, steady, grounded, unescaped. That is the final continuation. Now stop reading and practice. And now this is where the cycle closes. Because once you stop escaping pain, you stop asking life to be fair. You ask yourself to be ready. A strong mind does not depend on conditions. Good day or bad day, easy moment or hard moment. It functions the same. That consistency is real power. You begin to notice something very important. Pain still exists. Pressure still exists. Problems still exist. But suffering decreases. Why? Because suffering was coming from resistance, not from pain itself. You stop thinking, this shouldn't be happening. You start thinking, this is happening. What's my move? That mindset removes chaos. This is why your inner world becomes quiet. Not empty, not numb, clear. No fighting yourself. No running from yourself. Just alignment. A strong mind does not need to be hyped. It needs to be trained. And training always involves discomfort. You now understand this fully. So when pain shows up again tomorrow, you won't panic. You won't escape. You won't complain. You'll slow your breathing, relax your shoulders, and continue. That simple response is mastery. And here is the final truth, once and for all. Pain will visit everyone. But strength belongs only to those who stay present long enough to be trained by it. You stayed. And because you stayed, your mind became strong. Not aggressive. Not loud. Stable. This is not the end of learning. It is the end of fear. Now live. Stay present. Stay disciplined. Stay unescaped. That is the way. And now, this is where the strength becomes automatic. Because once you stop escaping pain long enough, you no longer need to remind yourself to be strong. You simply are. Pain still appears. But it no longer demands your attention. You don't rush. You don't complain. You don't dramatize. You acknowledge it and return to what must be done. That is mastery. A strong mind does not try to control pain. It controls response. Pain may rise. Pressure may increase. Fatigue may appear. But your behavior stays steady. Steady behavior is power. This is why strong people feel grounded. They are not guessing anymore. They are not searching for relief. They have learned something essential. I can function inside discomfort. That knowledge changes everything. You stop wasting energy on inner conflict. No arguing with yourself. No negotiating with weakness. Just action. Action simplifies the mind. You also stop fearing hard days. Hard days become useful days. They sharpen you. They focus you. They remind you who you are. This is where self-respect reaches its highest form. Not pride. Not ego. Reliability. You know you won't abandon yourself when things get uncomfortable. That trust creates calm. You begin to carry yourself differently. Slower. More composed. More deliberate. Not because you are trying to look strong. Because you are regulated. And regulation is what most people lack. They react too fast. They collapse too easily. They escape too quickly. You don't. Pain no longer defines your mood. It no longer decides your actions. It becomes background noise. Manageable. Temporary. Non-threatening. So when pain shows up again in work, in training, in life, remember this. You don't need to defeat it. You don't need to escape it. You only need to stay present. Breathe. Slow down. Continue. That is the final skill. And once you have it, your mind does not need protection from life. Can meet life as it is. Strong. Stable. Unmoved. That is what happens when you stop escaping pain. Now carry it forward. And now the mind reaches stillness. Not because pain stopped, but because resistance did. You stop bracing yourself against life. You stop tightening inside. You stop preparing to run. You remain open and steady. This is what real strength looks like. Not force. Not tension. Relaxed control. Pain comes and goes. Pressure rises and falls. But your center stays. You breathe. You observe. You act. No rush. No panic. At this level, you understand something clearly. Most people are tired not because life is heavy, but because they fight every hard moment. Fighting drains you. Staying present saves energy. You stop labeling moments as too much. You stop telling yourself stories. You deal with what is in front of you. One step, one breath, one action. That simplicity creates power. You no longer ask, how long will this last? Because you are no longer waiting for relief. You are functioning now. This is why your mind feels solid. Not excited. Not emotional. Reliable. A reliable mind does not collapse. It adjusts. It bends without breaking. It endures without hardening. And once you reach this point, pain no longer teaches you fear. Teaches you trust. Trust in your ability to stay. Trust in your ability to adapt. Trust in your ability to continue. That trust is unshakable, because it was built through experience, not belief. So when life applies pressure again, and it will, you won't ask, can I handle this? You already know the answer. You stay. You breathe. You move forward. Quietly. Calmly. Without escape. That is the final continuation. Once you stop escaping pain, your mind does not become hard. It becomes rooted. And a rooted mind cannot be easily moved. Now live from that place. And now the path reaches its natural end. Not because there is nothing left to say, but because everything has already been understood. At this stage, pain no longer feels like a problem to solve. Feels like a signal to slow down, a signal to focus, a signal to stay steady. You stop asking for life to be lighter. You become strong enough to carry it. That shift changes everything. You notice your reactions are different now. You don't rush into anger. You don't collapse into sadness. You don't escape into distraction. You pause. You breathe. You respond. That pause is mastery. This is why your mind feels grounded. Not excited. Not numb. Grounded. Grounded minds don't get pulled easily. They don't chase comfort. They don't fear discomfort. They don't panic under pressure. They remain. You also stop comparing yourself to others, because comparison is a form of escape. You focus on one thing only. Am I staying present and doing what must be done? If yes, that is enough. Pain no longer defines your worth. Hard days no longer make you question yourself, because your value is not based on how you feel. It is based on how you respond. This is where inner peace actually comes from. Not from ease. Not from pleasure. From knowing you won't abandon yourself when things become difficult. That knowledge is rare and powerful. So when pain shows up again tomorrow, you won't fight it. You won't run from it. You won't dramatize it. You'll stand still inside it. You'll breathe, and you'll continue. That is not suffering. That is strength in motion. Once you stop escaping pain, your mind does not become harsh. It becomes steady, and a steady mind can carry any life. Quietly, patiently, without breaking. That is the end. Now live this way.